Okay, I am making this video in support of an advertisement that I put up on the Datsun Classifieds. This is my 1974 260Z, and reluctantly I'm selling this car. It was sort of an impulse purchase late last year in 2011, and now it's the summer of 2012, and I've got a son that got married about a month ago, and I've got a daughter getting married next month. And the reality of having 6 kids and people getting married and the practicality of this car just don't really match up. So I love the car, nothing wrong with it, but I am selling it. This is the fourth Z car that I've owned. I've had two 1972 240Zs in the past, and then I had a 280ZX at one point, a 79 280ZX, and then this is the 74 260Z. This is an early model 260Z. You'll hear sometimes the distinction made between late model 260Z and an early model 260Z, and this is the early model. The late model 260Z, they used the longer, heavier bumpers like the 280ZX or the 280Z, and so this is the smaller bumper configuration. So overall, the overall package that you see here, in my mind, is really impressive. The car looks fantastic, but I do want to just point out virtually every little flaw, anything that I can show you that would help in making a decision about whether or not this is a car you want. So let's start here at the front. This is an aftermarket air dam that was put on, and there are just a few scratches here and there. It's this car, it has been it's been driven. I wouldn't say that this is a show car or a garage ornament of any sort. I've driven it around. I do not drive it in inclement weather, but you can see a couple points here in the bumper that there's some rock chips and some things that are just incident to it being driven. And hopefully you're able to pick up on some of that. Like I said, the paint is not absolutely perfect, but hey, for a 38-year-old car, it really is in great shape. Here is the lip of the hood, and you can see right here just a little bit of a paint chip, and hopefully with this pen you're able to get a bit of a perspective on what I'm showing you. I don't think that it's the original paint. My sense is that it's probably paint that's probably 5, 6, 7 years old is what I think. Here is on the hood just another little bit of a chip, and then right here, I don't know if you can see it, right here is just a ever so slight bit of a bubble in the paint. The windshield is in excellent condition. No rock chips or any problems of any kind with the windshield. I love the wheels on this car. They are painted and polished, and I believe that these are wheels that are originally from a 1981 280ZX. So the wheels look spectacular, and they match the paint. I don't know if you can get an idea of the tire tread, but the tread of the tire is good. I'd say it's probably 70% good tread. So moving along the car, there's the paint is really, really great all along this side of the car, aside from that one little spot that I tried to point out. Right here is a piece of hair of some sort, or lint. And if you can get an idea by me doing this, you can tell that they're really, there's no door dings. It hasn't been hit in parking lots or anything like that. So anyway, that's this side of the car. Oh, I wanted to point out this. This is like the front. This is kind of an aftermarket bumper setup that is on the vehicle. And right here, where the bumper meets the edge of the car, you can see just ever so slightly, and I think I'm being picky here, but again, I just want to make sure that there's full disclosure as to what this car is all about. And you can see that there is just a little bit of some separation here between the rear bumper and the body of the car. And I'm not quite sure how that would be resolved. I don't know if there's some kind of filler that they would put in. Maybe it's silicone sealant with paint. I don't know. But for the sake of seeing that, there it is. There is this aftermarket spoiler that's on the car, and I think that all of the aftermarket ground effects, including the spoiler, are quite tastefully done. Okay, let's go around to the back of the car. Again, there is just this little bit of a paint scratch right there, and that's the rear of the car. This side of the car, okay, here's a spot that I was going to point out. This is just above the wheel well, and you can see just a bit of paint right there that has flecked away, and a bit of a crack in the paint right in that area. A couple other little spots. I mean, there's a few very, very minor scratches here and there. But oh, and I wanted to point this out right here. This is kind of on the roof line of the car. A bit of a crack right here in the paint. And again, I am, in the spirit of full disclosure, trying to show every single flaw of the car. But the overall package is just another shot of the wheel. But the overall package is really, really good. And quite frankly, if a person wanted to get this and turn it into just a drop-dead showroom condition type of a show car, I don't think it'd take too much work. So that's the interior of the car, or I'm sorry, that's the exterior of the car. Let's go inside. I'll show you the interior. The seats of the car are new, and this little insignia, the Z logo in the headrest, I tried to get the trim thread of the seats to kind of coincide and match the color of the exterior of the car. And I'm really, really pleased with how the seats turned out. So they're not concourse seats, and the company that I got the seats from called this fabric, this material, they call it synthetic leather. And I actually have had people say, wow, those are beautiful leather seats. And I say, well, thanks, but they're not leather, but I'm glad you like them. And they really, the seats really do look great. I'm going to go around to the driver's side here. And I'll just sit in the car. Hopefully you can see everything that I want you to see. There's the speedometer, and it is showing 97,997 miles. And here's the dashboard. Now the dashboard, quite honestly, I think you'll find, if you find a early Z car with a perfect dashboard, it definitely has had some work done on it. Now, ideally, I would have pulled the dashboard out of this car and had it redone completely. But that puts the car out of commission for 6 to 8 weeks, and it's really quite costly. And so what I did was I acquired what is called the full dash cap. And unless you know what you're looking for, it's really, really difficult to tell that this is a cap. But it is. And the cap basically covers the top of the dashboard and extends down to where the dashboard begins, all the way down below. So the dashboard looks great, albeit it's a cap. I like to keep everything original, and it is, except for the radio. I did put in, well, actually I should qualify that. It's not just the radio that's changed out. I'll talk about the radio first. It's a Pioneer DEH 8400. And, Google the specs on that. It's a cool radio. It has Bluetooth capability, and so it will talk with your iPhone or other Bluetooth-enabled devices. And it also has an audio input right there, and I'm kind of proud of this. It's also got a USB input. And so I fashioned this right here. So there's USB right there, and this little cap when it's not in use that I installed. And so it's all integrated, and it looks pretty good, I think. Okay, the steering wheel is a Momo steering wheel, as is the gear shift knob, Momo. The interior is great. Here's a look at the driver's side door panel, and there's the passenger side door panel. The only issue that I would point out is that on the driver's side door panel, there's a little spot right here where there's a little bit of a tear in the fabric, and so I've used some gaffer's tape to put on there and cover it. And actually, when the door is shut, it's in the it's not visible whatsoever. Just a little bit of a tear in the plastic. Oh, you know what? A lot of people are concerned about what the floorboards look like. And so, I'm going to pull the floorboard, pull the mat here out so you can see the floorboard. And you'll see that there's some wires running there for the speakers, for the radio. But, and hopefully you can tell by this picture that it is rust free, and it's good, and it's solid, and it's rust free. So and it's the same on the passenger side. There's no rust in the floorboards whatsoever. Okay, let me open up the back real quick. The carpet back here is new. Actually, any of the carpet that is in the car is new. The floor mats are not new, but the carpet in other areas of the vehicle are new. And then let me show you the speakers. This side, these are the Motorsport speaker enclosures that are in the back of the car. And so you got some nice Pioneer 6x9 speakers, and they're mounted in the Motorsport speaker enclosures for the Z. And so it looks really, really good. It looks clean and like it belongs. So there's the back of the car. As you probably know, if you're watching this, there's a little compartment here, and I've got the jack and a spare fan belt and some other tools in there. And it's put together in a good clean car. Okay, I'm going to open the hood now. Here's the engine. Now, everything under the hood is stock, with just a couple of exceptions. In 1974, the carburetors on the 260Z were not as good as the carburetors that came on the 240Z. And so this vehicle has had the better 240Z carburetors put onto it. So there you see the carburetors. And then at the time that conversion was done, the mechanic took out the stock air cleaner, and so you've got these two, I don't know what the brand is, these two air cleaners on it. So there's the engine. I think that's a polished valve cover. A lot of people are concerned on these older cars about the battery tray in that area in here, and anyway, it's clean and it's rust free and in good shape. That is a new starter motor that was put on. I put it on probably 3 months ago. The previous starter motor failed, so there's a new starter motor. There's your little light for the engine compartment. So everything in the engine compartment is stock, as far as I know. I do know that the catalytic converter was removed, and any other emissions control stuff is not on the car anymore. And so what you've got is headers on the vehicle that go out to a single pipe. There is a resonator that I recently had installed, and then it goes back to super turbo, I think that's MagnaFlow, a super turbo muffler, and it sounds great. So tell you what, I will I'll go ahead and start the car. This is the first start of the day, and okay, so there's the choke light that is turned on. It turns off when there we go. Also, incidentally, the lights all work. There's the rear defogger light. This toggle switch right here is for the antenna, and the car is choked right now, but it just runs nice and smooth, and it's a joy to drive. So maybe you get a little bit of an idea of the sound of the exhaust from back here. Not sure what else to show. I will point out that the seat mechanism, the hinge mechanism, there's a cover on this side that is missing. So I don't have that. But on the other side, that mechanism cover is in place right here. And you see those parts all the time, and it shouldn't be too hard of a thing to get. Overall, like I've indicated, the car is It's not showroom perfect, but it's also not just your average beat up rust bucket of a Z car that would be considered an everyday driver. So now the choke is off, and the car runs great. So hopefully you get an idea of what this car is all about. Please know that I want to be 100% disclosing of every single aspect of this car, and I've tried to do that in the course of this video. But if there's something I've left off, if there's questions that you might have, or anything that needs some further clarification or explanation, please feel free to give me a call, and I'll tell you what you need to know. I'll take more pictures for you and elaborate in any way possible so that you know this car inside and out as you consider purchasing it. So thank you very much. Take care. Alright, there's just one other thing that I thought about and decided I'd show you, and that is the spare tire area. You do have to access the spare tire by pulling the carpet up from the front because of the speaker enclosures. It's a little bit hard to get to the spare tire from the rear, so it represents just a little bit of a hassle if you were ever having to have a loaded car and have to get to the spare tire. But in any case, I pull the carpet up from the front, as I just did. Again, there are speaker wires that are running there. And then this spare tire cover is in perfect condition. And I don't know for sure, but I think that this is the original spare tire. And it has I don't think it's ever been on the road. I don't think it's, the nubs are still there. I don't think it's ever been mounted on the car for any reason. There is the little screw down device that is missing, and I know a parts car in this area. I probably will, now that I'm thinking about it, go and try to find that tie down thing. But anyway, that's the only issue. And then this is the area of the spare tire where it goes, and it's as you can see, it's very, very clean. And it looks like right here maybe there's just a little teeny bit of some surface rust, but all in all, it's completely solid. So hopefully you're getting a good picture of what the spare tire area looks like. Okay, now you are seeing right in here, don't confuse this with rust. This is a kind of a coating material, a soundproofing material that was put in the car. And so that tends to sometimes, that can bubble up just a little bit, but this is not rust. So so there you go. There's just a little bit more information for you about what's under the carpet in the rear of the car and the spare tire. Thanks again. Okay, there's one other thing that I wanted to point out about the inside of the car. In addition to the dashboard cap that I talked about, and the new seats, this is a new center console. So hopefully you can get a view of that. The other center console was kind of in bad shape, and so I replaced the center console with a brand new factory center console. So I don't know if you can see that very well. The lighting is getting to be a little bit of a glare, but that's a new center console. So overall, with the new carpet, with the dash cap, the center console, the new seats, the interior of this car is really nice. It's nice to be in it, and it feels good and it looks good. Okay, unless there's any more PS's to this video, that'll conclude it. Things.